These are the most racist moments in football history. And first, Georgios Katidas' celebration ended with a lifetime ban from football.
Ο Κορδέρο, το σου, την μπάλα κοντράρι, γκολ! Πώς είναι που πανηγυρίζει έξαλα και δείτε πώς τον κυνηγάνε οι συμπαίκτες του.
But how could he have thought that that was going to play well?
No, I don't know how he doesn't know. I guess they don't have History Channel in Greece.
But the Spanish national team coach took racism to the next level because he got his players hyped with discrimination. The refs don't even care about racism. See, the fourth official was caught calling PSG's Pierre Weibo by his skin color, which had every player losing it.
Referee's been called across to the touchline again here. Something else, I think, said on the sidelines, and this time it's a red. It may well be a question of whether the players are prepared to continue.
You never know when the refs are hiding something. But honestly, even the fans are as just unhinged. Because after scoring 2 goals against Brighton in the Premier League, Ivan Toney was just chilling on IG when a fan slid into his DMs and straight up called him this. So he had to put the guy on blast for everyone to see immediately. And when they found Neil, he was hit with a 3-year stadium ban. But in football, you can't always fight back. Because Shakhtar Donetsk player Tyson was receiving racist chants from the Dynamo Kyiv fans. Yet when he took a stand, he was sent off. And the fallout got even messier, because the Ukrainian Association of Football launched an investigation, and Tyson still got hit with a 1-match ban and a 2-match suspension, all while Kyiv only took a slap on the wrist with 1 game with 0 fans. So my man Tyson couldn't even stand up for himself, but even teammates can't be trusted. See, Kevin Prince Boateng couldn't catch a break from Pro-Patria's crowd, so he left them a souvenir and sent everyone home early.
Boateng has passed the ball. The animal chants start.
Now, some racists get their karma in pain. Look, Emery Belazolo had a long track record of throwing vile words at African players. But when he faced Didier Zekoa, he was finally caught in action. Those words were unforgivable. And even though he was expected to receive a 4 to 8 game suspension, he was back on the pitch in 3. So when their clubs matched up again, the whole Turkish squad was locked in for revenge. Yeah, he deserved that ass whooping. Because sometimes, bigotry can make a man go ghost. Look, after Zion Suzuki's shaky performance against Iraq, the backlash on social media went beyond criticism. And the only way he could hide was by completely disabling his Instagram comments. My man couldn't escape the pain. And that's why some fans belong behind bars. See, Romain Sawyers was playing for West Brom when a so-called fan jumped on Facebook with a lethal message calling him a baboon. But instead of slipping away, Silwood got dragged straight into court, and his lie saying that autocorrect switched up his words had the judge hit him with 8 weeks of prison. West Brom quickly banned him for life. But some players go through racism with no support from their teammates. On April 2nd, 2019, Moise Kean scored a late second goal for Juventus against Cagliari. The response? Monkey chants and racist taunts. Yeah, the situation was out of hand. So Kean and his then teammate Blaise Matuidi went on social media and shared a clear message. Black and white, no to racism. But there was one small problem, because Leonardo Bonucci, also of Juventus, decided to add fuel to the fire by blaming his teammate.
Ken knows that when he scores a goal, he has to focus on celebrating with his teammates. He knows he could have done something differently too. There were racist cheers after that goal. Blaise heard it and was angered. I think the blame is 50-50.
Yeah, that's wild. But the Italian league is no stranger to racism, because in the Coppa Italia semi-final between Inter Milan and Juventus, Inter was awarded a penalty in the 94th minute.
To send the tie square to San Siro! Lukaku sends Pele in the wrong way, and red cards at the end of the match.
You would think racist chants for the fans would be enough, but nah. Instead, the announcers went on live TV and dropped the biggest nonsense of all time.
10 banane qui per mangiare che glielo dai, se no
Yeah, that dude hasn't touched a broadcast since. But the Italian league isn't the only one facing issues on a weekly basis, because just 700 kilometers west of them lies Spain. And in the center of it all is this guy, Vinicius Jr. He's had racial issues with Barcelona, Mallorca, Atletico Madrid, Valencia, and Valladolid. I mean, in 2021, he had issues with Camp Nou when fans made monkey sounds towards him. Reports were filed, but the case was closed due to no identifications. In 2022, against Mallorca, he was again subjected to monkey sounds. A complaint was once again filed, but no criminal actions. Same thing again in 2022 against Atletico Madrid. Only this time, 4 fans went so far, they hung a doll of Vinicius from a bridge in Madrid with a rope around his neck, and next to it, they put a banner that said, "Madrid hates Real." Police later identified and arrested 4 people. They also received a lifetime ban from the stadiums and were fined a grand sum of $1,200. But against Valencia, he had 90 minutes of straight hell.
Here, a verbal abuse from a supporter. Let's see if it's a racial abuse in this case. If someone done it, should be banned for life to be in a football stadium.
I mean, the insults were so bad, the ref had to apologize to Vinicius. But the tensions were too high for him to not explode.
He's pitched today, and it's all Vinicius was at the heart of it again.
Eventually, 3 fans were arrested for the abuse. Some players get abused by their own fans. See, the 2021 Euro finals between England and Italy had to be decided on penalties. The last 3 penalties would fall on Marcus Rashford, Jadon Sancho, and Bukayo Saka, who just couldn't deliver. The team was already suffering a heartbreak, but their own English fans said it only happened because they were black. So Rashford didn't hold his tongue and called out the 70 messages of hate he received. The game of football really has some work to do, because even social media jokes are still in the past. Look, Napoli star Victor Osimhen was fresh off carrying them to their first title in 33 years, and he missed a penalty. Honestly, it's fine. It happens. But Napoli's official TikTok account decided to post a video mocking his failure and compared him to a coconut.
I'm a coconut, coconut, not coconut.
Yeah, their own club account. Osimhen wiped almost every Napoli photo off his Instagram and had his agent threaten legal action. But Napoli later claimed it was just lighthearted content.
Whether they were meant for it to be offensive or not, surely you would just think in your mind, we've got a black person, do we want to cover his body with a coconut?
And the real story is that the champions of Italy have mocked and offended and insulted one of the best African players in the world, and it's about time they apologise to him.
Putting a black guy close to a coconut, where I'm from, you get punched in the nose straight away. So you have to do your research, and it's your own team. What are we talking about here?
From that point on, Osimhen's relationship with the club was broken. He kept scoring goals, but behind the scenes, he refused to sign a contract extension to make peace. But nobody beat racism like Dani Alves. See, he and Neymar weren't strangers to Spanish crowds calling them monkeys. So when a banana came flying at Alves in Villarreal, Dani Alves pulled a reverse Uno card. Man took the power into his own hands, and Villarreal tracked down the fan and banned him for life. But this battle was just getting started, because Neymar fired up an Instagram post of him eating a banana with the hashtag Somos todos macacos. We're all monkeys. And a slur turned into a rallying cry. But some hate speech could only be handled in court. Look, in 2011, Chelsea captain John Terry was a symbol of English football. But all that changed when he was exposed for hurling a racial slur. He said he was just repeating what he thought Ferdinand said to him. But it wasn't long before he had to face Westminster's judge with criminal charges. Now, he was lucky to escape with a not guilty verdict, thanks to the lack of evidence. The FA stepped in for their own investigation and found him guilty of using abusive words with racial connotations. So, he found himself in a 4-match ban and a £220,000 fine. And that story brought insane attention to the racial issues in football, because players like Samuel Eto'o had to go through it for years. See, in 2005, during a Barcelona match at Real Zaragoza, fans weren't just hurling monkey chants, they were throwing peanuts. Eto'o was so disrespected, he wanted no more pain.
No mas, no more.
Now, 2 fans were banned after that game, but Samuel called and said he wasn't satisfied, because his call for a stadium ban was a bold stand against racism in football. But imagine if the people you used to love were undercover racists. See, in 2020, he Musa Marega was excited to return back to play at his old club. The fans who once praised him for scoring goals were now throwing weapons.
After scoring in the 60th minute, the Mali international pointed to his skin in response to a section of supporters who were allegedly making monkey noises during the game. Seats were then thrown at Marega from the stands. The 28-year-old, who spent a season on loan at Victoria, was booked after picking one up in defiance during his celebration.
Dude defended himself for his skin color and still got booked. Now, even though his team did everything they could to keep him on the pitch, needed to give the entire stadium the finger. Everything about that meltdown was valid. Even the world's best don't believe in equality. Look, in 2011, Liverpool and Manchester United reignited their rivalry. But when Luis Suarez and Patrice Evra met to shake hands, Evra got left hanging.
Unfortunately for him, I speak Spanish. I say, "What did you say?" And he said again, the N-word, and he said, "Anyway, I don't speak with any the N-word."
It was immediate smoke, because when the match began, Suarez was sending hate speech all game. Now, Suarez denied it all, but the FA investigated and found Suarez guilty of racially abusing Evra. So they banned him for 8 matches and fined him for £40,000. But Evra wasn't keeping his mouth shut, because he had a solution.
It's about the education, doing like something, I don't know, sending him to Africa, helping the kids, and to see like we all the same.
Bro needed a lesson straight from the source, but sometimes your own hometown can give you the most hate. See, in 2006, the French national team was gearing up for the World Cup, but the leader of the far-right National Front, Jean-Marie Le Pen, saw a team that made him disgusted.
Je trouve que c'est tout de même un peu artificiel de faire venir des joueurs de l'étranger et de les baptiser équipe de France. Je constate que les joueurs des autres équipes chantent leur hymne national de grand cœur et à pleine voix.
The French leader wanted nothing to do with black players, so they all stood together, and Lilian Thuram responded, "I'm not black, I'm French." Now France were brought together closer than brothers all the way to the World Cup final, where France's leader was silenced.
Emmanuel Petit, 3! Made in Highbury, finished in Paris, the World Cup. Deschamps, the unsung skipper, after years of waiting and wondering.
France's diverse squad became a symbol of national unity. But now we have to talk about the man hated by his own country. Look, Mario Balotelli went through the worst trauma of his generation, because in just his first rivalry game between Juventus and Inter, fans were already screaming that there were no black Italians. So he responded by proving he was one of the country's best.
Sì, perché la Juve voleva un fallo al limite dell'area che l'arbitro ha lasciato correre, infatti si stanno lamentando adesso con Farina.
Juventus gets a 1-match home fan ban, but the abuse on Balotelli was just beginning, because in 2013, he was facing his old Inter Milan squad, and by game time, he found that they never liked him from the start. The referee stopped the game, the stadium speaker condemned the abuse, but at this point, Balotelli was on edge. So before his time with England, on his Italian national squad, his only defense was death threats.
"I will not accept racism at all. It's unacceptable. If someone throws a banana at me in the street, I will go to jail because I will kill them."
My man couldn't help but speak on his struggles, but it wasn't until his 14th year in a match against Hellas Verona where he finally exploded.
Can he produce some magic? Oh, Balotelli immediately kicks the ball into the crowd.
The players heard the slurs, but they wanted Mario to stand strong, so he delivered.
The outside him goes back to Balotelli. Oh, Mario Balotelli! Out of nothing, brings pressure back into the game.
It took everything to stay on the pitch, but his manager said the crowd didn't even attack him. 3 incidents, 3 decades, the same problems. But the GOAT experienced the worst racism in football history. Because Pele wasn't just born into poverty. He was born black and poor in Brazil that had a long history of racism towards darker skin. But by 17, he was already on the Brazilian national team, where they thought he was the mascot.
He was mourned, he was mistrusted when he came in at the age of 17. They thought he was a mascot, that's what he says.
That didn't stop the teenager from leading Brazil to the World Cup, but if Pele wanted to dominate, he would have to be tough as nails. Because players were already mad that he was unguardable, so the officials made sure he would take a beat down. Playing through that abuse made him twice as good. I mean, the brutality helped inspire the introduction of red cards into the game. But success didn't mean freedom, because when European giants tried to sign him, Brazil's government literally passed a law declaring Pele an official national treasure. But in reality, it meant keeping their young black superstar under state control, denying him the same international opportunities white players were getting. Yeah, Pele was paraded as a symbol of Brazil's greatness, but only on their terms. But after retiring, he flipped the script by serving as Brazil's Minister of Sports, pushing for reforms and fighting corruption in football. His influence reached beyond Brazil, because Pele built a friendship with Nelson Mandela, with the idea that football could be a weapon against racism. Even after years of racist chants and abuse, Pele told the young players of color to ignore the hate and let your game do the talking.
Last year, when Dani Alves was going to take a corner kick, somebody threw a banana at the pitch. He peeled the banana, ate it, and took the corner. Nobody talked about it again. It was an act of racism. I think if Dani had taken the banana and had thrown it back into the stands, we would still be talking about it today.
My man took everything racism could throw at him and still became a legend on and off the field. But for the most racist moment in football history, we have to talk about the most racist fans in the world. Look, Beitar Jerusalem has built a reputation for openly embracing far-right Israeli politics, and their own country's prime minister leads the chants. These fans have made it their mission to terrorize every Arabian in the country. I mean, they jumped 2 innocent bus drivers. Yeah, these fans are true criminals, because they wish the worst upon their enemies. And on the pitch, Beitar has never signed an Arab player, the only club in Israel with that record. So the football world may be fun to watch, but racism is far from being solved.